Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. We are back with another weekly wears video where I go over every single fragrance that I wore every single day last week. So if that's content you want to see more of, be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on bell notifications so you are updated whenever I upload something new. I wanted to pick 7 fragrances that I personally find very calming and relaxing, just sort of put me in that even, steady mood, and they're super enjoyable. So let's not waste any time. Let's jump right into the list, starting with Sunday. I think this first fragrance that I reach for is kind of known for being a very calming scent. I find a lot of people like to wear this at bedtime. I don't wear a lot of fragrances to bed. I just don't. But when I do, it's usually this one. So what you're talking about is Mont Blanc Starwalker. And I mean, I know that there's a high likelihood that you guys have heard of this fragrance before. Kind of a notable cheapie within the community, but there's just something about this one that makes it really stand out as being super calm and super relaxing. There's a bamboo note here that just adds this sort of aquatic, slightly sweet vibe to it. It's held up by some woods and musks, sandalwood. There is nothing overly complex about this one. It doesn't smell particularly, high quality. There is a synthetic nature to it. With all that being said, though, it's really addictive and relaxing. It kind of gives off this just, maybe like down by the water, nice breeze, green, just, again, the citrus note here. I believe this mandarin orange adds a nice balance of sweetness with everything else that's going on. This one is a classic and one of my favorite relaxing fragrances. Mont Blanc Starwalker. This next one has gotten a ton of hype for a long time, and for good reason. One of my favorite summertime citrus fragrances, same way we're talking about, is John Barbados Artisan Pure. And it's an invigorating, soft, spicy, soapy scent that really any guy can pull off. First time I smelled it, I didn't know what to think of it. Wasn't used to smelling neroli as upfront as it is in here. There's lots of citrus notes here, specifically clementine and, again, mandarin orange. And you're going to find a theme here when it comes to the citrus. There's a lot of mandarin orange highlighted in the top notes of all of these fragrances, with the exception of maybe one fragrance on this list. That was not on purpose. I just think that mandarin orange, I've talked about it on the channel before, one of my favorite citrus notes. And part of that is because it's such a nice balance between sharp citrus and sweetness. So it's not overly sharp. It's not like lemon. Doesn't come across as like a cleaning supply, but it just offers enough vibrance and life to make it sparkle and have it be uplifting. The neroli here has a very soapy nature to it, which balances beautifully, again, with kind of quiets some of those other citrus notes here, making this a really unique fragrance. I haven't smelled anything quite like this. Amazing. And it's almost like a spa-like calmness to it. Just great stuff. John Barbados, Artisan Pure. This next one, another classic. Tons of citrus, classy, and aromatics. That just one of the most well-balanced fragrances on this list. Same way you're talking about is Dolce & Gabbana Pour Homme. This just smells upscale to me. Gentlemanly, kind of a quiet confidence for any guy that is wearing this scent. But the real notable sort of, accord here, note, is the tobacco. The tobacco note adds this subtle, sweet smoothness to the scent that is addictive as it is practical. The reason I say that is because it truly rounds out this entire scent. So what might come across is your typical masculine, Italian style fougere fragrance. The tobacco really adds this element here that adds depth, complexity, makes it more interesting, and just something about that note for me that helps me calm down. It's just like, it's one of those just calming notes that as alive as the rest of the scent feels, that note balances everything else out and just makes it fantastic. This is a great one. If you guys haven't tried Dolce & Gabbana Pour Homme, I don't know what you're doing. Definitely give it a try. This next one gives off this kind of grassy green, late 90s, early 2000s vibe that I can't get enough of. Scent we're talking about is Carolina Herrera's 212 Men. And wow, I mean, just amazing fragrance. I think this one for me, calming, relaxing, because it just kind of brings me back to a time where, you know, maybe you didn't have as many responsibilities. Life was sort of, you know, laid out in front of you and you could choose whichever path you decided. And yeah, late 90s again, early 2000s, very reminiscent of that time. So it's nostalgic in that way, throwback to all the best times. Lavender, ginger, sage, vetiver, those sort of green, grassy notes remind me of spring. Sun shining, grass growing, maybe baseball starting, Sox are gonna having their home opener any day now. So it's the perfect scent in that way. It's the perfect transitional fragrance that, again, I can't get enough of. Carolina Herrera, 212 Men. This is another nostalgic fragrance for me personally, but again, I think offers a lot of versatility and another relaxing fragrance that I think people will enjoy. Same way you're talking about is none other than Burberry Touch. And I talk about this fragrance quite a bit on this channel because it is in my top 10. It's probably my favorite cheapie of all time. Just a stunning, again, mandarin orange. Has this aquatic vibe to it. Very clean smelling, put together. Everything is so refined here. You could literally wear this anytime, anywhere, any situation. It's not going to blow you away with sweetness. It's not going to fill a room. It's not meant to do that. Just based on its name alone, they couldn't have named it more perfectly because it's a touch of everything. It's a touch of soft spice. It's a touch of cleanliness. It's a touch of class. This thing checks every single box for me, and you can get it really cheap. So I don't know why you wouldn't give it a try. It's peppery. It's a little bit sweet. This thing is absolutely amazing. And people that know. They just know how good this is. Burberry Touch. This really is the only one on the list that doesn't utilize mandarin orange. So I think, but there's a reason why I chose this one. I think you guys will agree. Same way we're talking about is Mercedes-Benz Club Black. Now, most of the fragrances that I've talked about already are sort of, you know, fresh, spa-like, nature, green, earthy, soft spice, little bit sweet, little bit, you know, whatever it is. This is straight up vanilla. It's warm, it's ambery, it's slightly smoky. It's like burning a really good candle, burning your favorite candle, filling the house. It's like baking cookies, that type of comfort I get from this. So, you know, at the same time, it can also be really relaxing. I find it to be cozy. You know, when I'm wearing a hoodie or bundled up for the wintertime, I tend to lean more towards the warm, ambery vanilla fragrances, and this is no exception to that. Performance, I wish it was a little better, if I'm being honest. But with that being said, I have so many fragrances. I don't mind overspraying. I don't mind having to go back to it, you know, a few hours later and just re-upping on it. It's not a big deal. That's why performance for me personally isn't at the top of the list when I'm deciding whether or not a fragrance for me is like one of my favorites. It really always comes down to scent and how it makes me feel. And this one checks both those boxes. Mercedes-Benz Club Black. This next one is kind of pretty straightforward for me. It just smells incredible. I'm confident that I smell fantastic when I'm wearing this. Not only do I love it, but I get positive attention from it. Usually someone will give me a compliment, but it's not necessarily about compliments for me as it is just feeling comfort in that, you know, I smell good and I don't have to think too much about it. This nails that. Same way you're talking about is Chanel Allure Homme Sport Eau Extreme. Again, mandarin orange, mint, tonka bean, with a heavy emphasis on the tonka. This is a little bit more beefed up than the original, and that's by design. So the extreme tag is appropriate. And in the air right now, this smells absolutely luxurious, amazing, fresh, masculine, sporty in a way. But at the same time, I think that name can be misleading. It's versatile. I think you could easily wear this casually, but also wear it dressed up to a wedding or to a work event, office, something like that. This is one of my best all-arounders, for sure in my top 10. Absolutely 100%. Clean, fresh, elevated, put together. You cannot miss with this Chanel. Yeah, it's a little bit pricier. Some people might be a little disappointed in it because I guess I wouldn't even tag it as generic, but it's pretty safe. You know, I think a lot of guys are going to like this one. It's a beautiful fragrance through and through. Chanel Allure Sport Eau Extreme. That's it, guys. All 7 fragrances that I wore every single day last week. I hope you like my list. As always, would love to know what you guys wore, whether it was 1 or 10. Drop it in the comment section down below, and drop what your favorite calming, relaxing fragrance is, your confidence instilling, just whatever. The fragrance that you go to when you just want to chill, relax, or just feel, confident in your choice. Drop it in the comment section down below. But if you like content like this, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, share this video, hit that bell notification so you're updated whenever I upload new content. But until then, have a fantastic week, and I'll see you in the next video.